Okay. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the City of Kingston joint meeting of the Heritage and the Historic Landmarks Preservation Commission. Tonight is August 24th. This is our regular meeting for the month. It's been rescheduled due to conflicts. And we are starting at 6:35 p.m. We're in conference room 1 at Kingston City Hall. If you do have a cell phone, I'm just going to ask that you please silence it so that it doesn't interfere with our meeting. Also, if you do have any side conversations, we ask that you please take them outside of the room. You can go into the main chambers if you need it. There are restrooms on the opposite side of the chamber. So exiting here, men's room is to the front of the room, women's to the back. So you can find those. My name is Suzanne Cahill. I am the planning director for the City of Kingston. I'm going to turn the meeting over to the chairman of our Landmarks Preservation Commission, Mark Grumblatt, to introduce the commission members. I also want to introduce Ethan Dickerman. He is the Historic Preservation Administrator. So Mark, I'll turn it over to you. And you can...
Thank you, Sue. My name is Mark Grumblatt. I chair Historic Landmark Preservation Commission. I'm going to ask members of the commission to introduce themselves. I'll start down here with you, Andrea.
I'm Andrea Putz. I'm the architect of the HLPC.
Nettie Marano.
Robert Tyler, Commissioner. Kevin McAvoy, Commissioner.
All right. Thank you. Has everyone had a chance to look at the last month's minutes? Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes as written.
So moved.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
Second, Andrea.
Thank you, Andrea. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Andrea?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
Robert? Kevin?
Aye.
I also vote aye. Thank you. Over to you, Bonnie.
Good. I'm Bonnie Howland. I'm the chairperson for the Heritage Area Commission. If I can have the members of the Heritage Area Commission please introduce themselves, starting with Kevin.
Yeah, I'm also on this board. I'm a commissioner.
Nettie Marano, Commissioner.
Janet Block, Commissioner. Have you all had a chance to review the minutes from the last meeting? Okay. Any questions, comments, concerns, changes to them at all? Do I hear a motion to adopt the meeting minutes as presented in the last meeting?
Nettie Marano, so moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second, Kevin.
Motion on the floor. Any further questions? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Kevin?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
Janet? Aye. And I'm on the Okay. I think that was two. Mark? What would you? What were you doing?
No, HAC going first.
first.
So Bonnie, you're up.
All right, so these are strictly the Heritage Area Commission applications. First one is number 30 Second Street. We have someone here from that one. Hi, can you come up to the front, introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about your project? And they'll put it up on the screen behind your head too. So.
Okay, great. I'm Jane Simpson and I'm new to this neighborhood. And I purchased a property on 30 Sycamore Street as my permanent residence.
Okay.
And I'm a designer. And so I'm in the process of redesigning that entire lot because there was lots of erosion and things and there was, it really wasn't maintained or kept. And so I'm putting flower beds and
It's up behind you if you want to.
Yeah.
It's usually helpful when you have visuals. So there you go.
Yeah, so basically, previously the lot, actually, can you scroll up? Yeah, because I think there was a first page or something that had something different. But basically, when I purchased the property, it looked like this, right? There was no fencing. It was a lot of debris and a lot of trash and just exposed and really not attractive. And the thing with this lot is, as you can see here, the trash and everything before I purchased it. Basically, I pretty much am clearing that and I put a new fence in, which I'm going to landscape in front of so that there are bushes in front of it so that it's not just looking at the fence. And this was the back exterior of the yard. The problem with this property is that it has no privacy at all. And so, so that's one thing. And so in the exterior, this perimeter, I placed a fence along dividing the properties here between my property and the adjacent property next to me, which is 34 Sycamore. And I'm going to continue the privacy fence across the back so that it will provide some break between the chain link and the visibility of the rest of the street behind me, which is Skills.
How tall? I'm sorry.
It's 6 feet.
6 feet,
Just a
okay.
standard 6-foot fence.
All right.
And so basically, it'll provide privacy here along the back. So you won't be able to see into the lower portion of the backyard, which will also have new trees put in and plants, right? And so this is the lot currently. Basically, this is the view from Gill Street and looking toward my property. And so this is the chain link fence going across here, which allows you to see the back of my yard. So once there's a 6-foot fence there, you won't be able to see as much of that and it won't be as visible from the street. And so in that area, I needed to place a shed because this house has a 3-foot closet in it. The only closet in the house. Okay, and it has no square footage, and I'm working in the bathroom, which is about the size of this, right? So I need a space. I'm a designer. I work from home, and so I need a space where I can work and store the rest of my actual furniture. So basically, that's the scenario here. Basically, I purchased a shed from Home Depot. They're going to do the installation. They pulled all the permits and things for it. So those are the plans. So basically right now, I placed the wooden fence that's right here. And so there'll be planters here with flowers and things. And I have a new cement slab here with a flower bed so that I can actually have a space to sit because this is actually a wall about this tall, that had it was eroded. And so basically I put new planter boxes here made out of the vintage cement block. And also there's a secondary one here and there's a pathway here and this is gravel. And there's a tree here. So you can come down the steps and go here. And this will be the shed in the back and putting shrubs here and shrubs along the back of the shed so that it's not so visible that you're looking at the shed. So there'll be plants and shrubs here. And this right here is just an empty space. It's about 20 by 20. So basically, that's currently what's happening with the house. And so you can see here, kind of what's happening with it. There's a large tree here. And so it really will, be aesthetically pleasing. I had a house that was in the 30s, my last house. And so I remodeled the entire thing. It was in similar condition. And so I need to put new roof and new siding on for the finish of the exterior for the street view.
The only thing I would just want to mention is the planter boxes that are out front, okay, if they are in the public right of way, you will need to get approval from the Department of Public Works because it's within the street right of way, the sidewalk area. So if it's beyond your property line, there's also that and an insurance coverage that you'll have to provide to the city.
Okay, I just gave you bushes in the ground.
If you keep them within your property, you're good to go.
Basically, the sidewalk ends and there's probably like 2 to 3 feet space that's in front of the gate. So that's the space that I'm gonna put. Right now, it's just gravel.
Yeah, you might want to just double check where your property line actually ends. The other option would be not to do a planter box, just do it right in the ground and then
The
you're
ground's
probably a lot, you're much better. It's the physical structure that
Yeah, no, I
becomes
understand.
the issue.
Yeah, no, that's not a problem. Yeah, no, so I can put them in the ground. Those
Yeah.
That's the easy part, right?
Yeah.
So pretty much there'll be something like that. And right now there's plants here and this plant's gonna be there. I just finished prepping that area for plants and similarly in the back.
Does anyone on the commission have any questions? I love everything about this.
Yeah.
It's really nice. A little bit like if that's the hardest part, just like don't put a planter in and just put it in the street, all right, fine, or.
No worries.
But, yeah, like you said, just double check and make sure that you don't
Yeah, well, yeah, I
dig a hole, no pun intended.
No, yeah, no, that's why I got a survey initially before I purchased the property, know where the property line is, so that I can actually put
Perfect.
fence around the perimeter, and then basically I can know where the property lines and the easements are, and encroachments or anything, you know.
So at this point, it looks, I mean, as far as the application goes, it's specifically for the shed and everything else is just.
Everything, the visual stuff from the street and the shed, yes, the shed is visible.
Okay.
Because the way the property goes down behind, you can see it from the back streets actually.
Because there are no buildings
And I think it's
there.
a huge
Yeah.
improvement, yeah.
Absolutely.
If there was, I mean, any buildings and, you know, and the privacy fence will help as well, you know, because basically seeing it from the street, and basically once the 6-foot fence is there, you'll only be able to see probably the top of the shed, you know, and there's obviously, you know, 2 very attractive sheds sitting there currently, sorry. But yeah, so basically, I think, you know, for me, my work is to make things look better in general.
Is the shed the same size of the house or bigger than the house?
The shed is the same size as the house.
That's what I was trying to. With that,
Thank you.
yeah.
I live in a 2-story shed.
Which it sounds like you're making fabulous. So there's no other, do I hear a motion from Heritage Commission to declare this type 2 action under seeker?
Motion made, Kevin.
Do I hear a second?
Lady second.
Motion's on the floor. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Kevin? Aye. Nettie?
Aye.
Janet? Aye. And I'm Bonnie. I vote aye. Do I hear a motion to approve, as presented, the addition of the shed and the landscaping?
So
Do I hear a second?
Second, Kevin.
Motion's on the floor. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Janet? Aye. Nettie?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
I'm Bonnie. I vote aye.
Yes.
Thank you. Good luck. Good luck.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
I think that the area where the.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It's gonna be so nice.
I think it has that.
To you. All right. Next up is 636 Broadway. Hi. You guys can introduce yourselves and we'll pull it up there and tell us a little bit about your project.
Hi, I'm Nick Africano. And this is Harry. We're partners in a project named Mirador, which will be a Spanish tapas restaurant at 636 Broadway.
Those are just specifications on a
That was just
light sign box. But that's not really the main thrust of the design.
Yeah, so just to review what we put in the application, we took over a space that currently that formerly was Lunch Nightly. Before that, I believe it was Peace Nation Cafe. Before that was Sophia's. So long history of being a food establishment in that neighborhood in Midtown Kingston. Currently, the space is white brick on the facade with black paint to paint their logo. The second and third floor, we do not control. That's painted a light blue, happens to kind of match one of our colors in our color scheme, but we don't have control over that second and third floor. So we're applying to repaint the first floor white or off-white color, and then paint our logo Mirador, or just the word Mirador above the doors and windows. We would like to add a light box, which is actually a 24-inch cylindrical fixture that we will then just paint our logo onto. And then we're also planning to put some signage in the windows. Just some things that we will be selling, like tapas, vinos, conservas, which are little tinned fish, and other styles of things. We'll be selling generosos, which means generous wines, which is a style of wine from Andalusia. This is the previous.
Currently what it looks like, and I think an important part is the graphics here on both sides, kind of the words. So we're going to echo that a little bit in our design, just updated graphically with our kind of graphic design package. And instead of lunch nightly here, it'll be a painted logo, just more centered, but pretty close to what it has been for a few years now.
Pretty close, yeah. There's and yeah, this is the awning. That is actually a piece of tin metal that we will fix and repaint, and then these will be painted words. This is in our original design concept. This is just an iron gate that you might see in front of the actual door. We were trying to mimic a winery if you were in Spain and you went, there are a lot of doors in Spain. So you can see through it, you would see the actual door, but this would just be kind of a fake door. Like you go through this one and get through the next one. And
So is that part of your proposal?
I know that I spoke
Was
with
it mentioned in the text? We were curious if that's actually something you are considering, or
it's something we're considering. I was talking with Ethan and I was talking with Harry today. I'm not married to that. We were considering doing that, but I think it would be just fine without it.
Is this the font? So this is the font you're gonna
Correct. That would be
okay. And when you say your logo, is this the?
That would be on the door, sort of a secondary logo, the cursive.
That's the logo.
That would be
that's scripted.
Correct.
So that would be on the light box.
The light box would actually just be that logo. That would be a drawing, which is our kind of symbol logo. So that is a drawing of the Mirador, which is a lookout tower. So that's sort of an abstract drawing of the Mirador tower with a little moon next to it.
Okay.
And then, yeah, the hours would be on the bottom part of the door. This would be black paint. Anything you see in gray is just glass, just be the window. And then the yellow would be the kind of vinyl lettering. The address in the top panel of the window, down here, just the hours of operation. And then, yeah, this currently is silver and metal, and it's in pretty rough shape. So we're just trying to clean that up and paint it a black trim against the yellow and the off-white.
And then you're painting, it just seems like a lot of signage to me, because if you have proposed signage in both of the windows that sit out directly, the storefront windows, so you're intending to do the signage there. You've got the signage on the top, signage on the door, and then you've got a projecting sign. It just seems there's just a lot of signage under the code. The new code that was just recently adopted, you technically would be limited to one window sign. So.
And I didn't know that before we applied.
Yeah.
We did this design months ago, so I didn't know about that. This was, if you go back to the window front, I can explain some of the sizing. So these words would be about 3 inches by 9 inches long. So these would be very subtle and in yellow vinyl. This up here, this would probably be, a 1.5 foot painted words. It's just to mirror the different items being sold in the bar. Our neighbors, if you do a Google map, you can't see through their windows at all. There's words all over. So, we're trying to be symmetrical as well. So I think if we put all 6 words here, we would get into the problem of redesigning. So we're trying to keep it balanced and symmetrical and clean.
Just to be clear, the gray is glass.
It's just glass.
Clear glass.
Yeah, just glass.
So can you scroll back to the previous picture of lunch nightly? Or lunch? That one. So it's just, these graphics are just literally placed on the clear glass that's on the window.
Correct.
So
And so it would be,
the whole front.
no, it would just be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, Mirador.
Right.
And then the light box here is, they had a sign hanging off down here. We're going to remove this. It's actually going to be way smaller. Like, we're going to take this whole thing out.
Got it, okay.
because we don't need it. And this will be painted black, so it looks nicer. The lamps we will update and do Rust-Oleum paint, so they're shiny and new. This we're going to fix up, and then this is where we would paint 3 words.
Could you take
And
those 3 words out of your scheme? I mean, because those 3 words are repeated on your windows in the front. They're the same, it's the same words. If I read across, by looking at this,
Are you keeping the recessed door?
yeah, we're keeping the recess.
so the 3 words across the top are the same as the 3 words in the window on the right as I look at it, the
Okay,
way this is drawn up.
okay.
You're asking that as a code question, that if they
Well, I'm
reduce
just
it?
trying to reduce some of the signage.
I think-
in front.
Just to make a point in terms of the design, especially with the clear windows, relatively small text, in keeping with the design, you'll see interior and outside. If you just walk down Broadway, which I did today, our neighbors have giant Thuman's hot dog deli signs taking up the whole window, Boar's Head. They have posters, all this stuff. It's totally all over the place. This is going to be very thoughtful. It's going to be in keeping with the design that you see throughout the rest of the business. So, you know, I think we would ask that we be allowed to do as much as possible of the proposed design here. It will look a lot better than some of the other businesses that are right, you know, our direct neighbors just on either side, Lawrence blocks down the road.
And the concern of the over signage is just to reduce the verbiage or the.
Yeah, I just think it's too busy. I mean, I don't know that all of it is necessary. I mean, I'm even struggling with the large wall sign and the projecting sign. Because you are right on the street, and with the illumination on both, I'm just thinking what that might look like at nighttime.
I hear those concerns. I think the lights, these lights that you see in the diagram here, they're not very bright. You know, these are
Yeah,
just
they're
small
focused
lights.
on the
Those will be
signs.
focused here. I
Yeah.
guess
Yeah, they're
Same
meant
thing with the light box. It doesn't project any light. It's just an illuminated light, so it illuminates the logo from inside. But it's not going to create like a blasting light out from people walking by or, you know, cars driving or anything.
And if, actually, can we go back to this photo? Yeah, so this would be 24 inches. It's not neon, it's just lit inside, it's LED. And yeah, I guess I was looking
Placement
at,
of that, I mean, so I'm looking at that right there, so they've got a wall sign, but it's above,
Mhm.
okay? So the placement of your projecting sign, where would it be on the building face in relation to,
would be here. I think I have a printout actually. if you want to see. Forgive me. Yeah, it would be there. It would be like a 24-inch circle coming out, which is significantly less than what was happening before. This was a 3-foot wooden sign coming off of the wall.
so it's
I kinda
going
took-
to be, just kind of, can you point to where it's going to be mounted on the building, right there?
Right here.
Okay,
So it would come out, it would be, 24 inches would be just right there in the corner. The idea is that we have our main logo Mirador, which is a viewpoint. And figuratively, we're hoping that can also mean like a lookout point or a place where people can come to be looked after, taken care of. That's our hope with our hospitality approach. The logo is just an abstract reference to the actual tower that inspired the concept, which is a lookout tower in Andalusia. And yeah, I mean, I'd be open to taking off the white words on the black, keeping the window.
just with the projecting sign, just so you're aware, because you're projecting out over the public right of way, you're going to need insurance, naming the city is additionally insured, and there is a clearance height from the grade to the bottom of the sign that will give you, so you'll make sure you have to meet that clearance underneath,
Okay.
okay?
Yeah.
Do any other commission members have any questions for them?
I really like it.
See, I really, yeah, I like
I really
it.
like
I like
very
it too.
classy.
And from my opinion, it is there's less going on than some of the places that are next to you on either side. That's why I was like, the only clarification I needed was to understand that it's the glass and it's not a grayed out
Yeah.
window with a logo, so it seems,
Yeah, that was just so you could see the actual words are.
Yes.
yeah,
in
no, the
picture.
simplicity of it, I
Yeah,
like a lot.
it's very classy.
And I was curious about the gate as well. I mean, my question, I guess, to you, Sue, is if they decide that they want the gate or even to putting out to the whole commission, is it something that you desire to have?
It's cool. We have a lot of ideas swirling, so, we recognize that there's limitations on what we can do, so we wanted to make sure and propose everything and get the feedback from the commission here, so we appreciate your thoughts. If it's, honestly, I would like to just know, like, how realistic is it?
What is it made? Is it like an iron gate?
The iron, yeah.
It'll be black or white.
It would be darker color, hopefully from Zaborski's, if we can afford it.
I might
So,
extend.
yeah, I guess the question to the board would be like, is there certain stumbling blocks that we should be aware of? And that, is it in our interest to proceed with kind of the plan without that and maybe bring it back to you
That's what I'm gonna say.
with more,
My shoulder to you.
after we address those questions?
It's a design element, I mean, it's what the commission's preference would be, is the commission, it's a design element. I kind of like the recessed.
I like both. That's what more like asking.
Entry that,
Yeah.
to me, that is more inviting than gate.
It's
but
the gate
I
is a
get-
focal point.
The gates are like part of the theme of the
Yeah.
place.
Yeah, like,
As a European player.
I just don't think it fits on Broadway.
The gate.
Yeah, I know. Sorry.
You might be right.
No, that's why.
Yeah, we could trade the 3 white words for the gate.
No, I mean, yeah, with the recessed door, with the graphics and everything as is and the colors, and then understanding your clearance to your signage, your computing signage, and your additional insurance on that. I mean, personally, I like this.
Yeah.
Any other?
Skip the gate.
Okay, let's just say, if board is open to it, if it makes, this all work as a cohesive thing, we could forfeit the gate in the interest of kind of the rest of the proposal, understanding the clearance and the insurance issue, of course.
Yeah, I think we're a split group on the gate.
Okay.
We're on the pro gate, so.
Yeah, I think it's as part of the theme of the whole thing and knowing that it's not like a faux gate, that you're actually doing
Right.
full on wrought iron and you're gonna paint it to, then something about that is inviting to me for that
Yes.
theme.
Sure.
And I don't think that anyone, then going into, could somebody vandalize it? And if they did, what would that look like? Which is where I went in my head. I'm like, I don't even know what that would be. I don't want to have to think about that, but yeah. So, I mean, it's 6 and 1 half dozen the other to me. So if you like it, I want to just make sure that we're putting the language in that you're either having the gate or not having the gate. Everything else, you're no gate,
I'm no gate, I'm sorry.
Gate.
gate.
Great, okay.
If you want the gate.
So I guess at this point, there's 3 to 1 on what that we like your gate idea.
Can we stop our leave the gate till later, I think we'll just apply without the gate for now. If
Okay.
we decide that that's going to be something really important, we can maybe, discussion in the future, after you see how great everything else looks, and
All right.
like, oh, this is just missing that one thing, and then you'll already know what our idea is when we come.
Cool. So do I hear a motion to declare this a type 2 action under seeker?
Yes, Mom, so moved.
Do I hear a
Well,
second?
actually, may I ask a question?
Yes.
Are these gone or no? Okay, they're there. We got the white
Do
words.
we all, I mean, do we agree, right words?
I like words.
Right words. Sorry, yeah.
I didn't know.
It's not a code, I don't think it's not a code issue. Is it?
If they apply before the new code.
Oh, okay, so the lettering is legal signage on this one.
No, well, it would, yeah, what does it, for this application, though I agree with it, it would have text.
Great.
That was.
Okay, cool.
Here we go. So motion was Nettie, second Kevin. Got motions on the floor. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Kevin,
On,
Nettie,
Aye.
Janet,
Aye.
and I'm Bonnie. I vote aye. Do I hear a motion to approve the upgrades to the front of the building with the graphics, paint, signage listing the city of Kingston as additional insured, making sure you have the clearance, putting aside the gate for now.
Janet Marshall.
Do I hear a second? Got motions on the floor, any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Janet?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Bonnie, I vote aye.
Thank you, board. We look forward to having
Absolutely,
you.
good luck.
Thanks so much.
When's your opening?
Soon, in the fall.
This year?
This year.
Awesome.
Now you're making me.
Sorry.
Okay, next is 728 Broadway.
Hi, I'm Andrea Kamalski. I own 728 Broadway, which is
Coming.
it's a super sweet, beautiful Art Deco building. It's across the street from the probation department. It has green paint, a green copper sign, and these beautiful green panels, which we want to remove and replace with powder-coated stainless steel panels. So we're really maintaining the exact Art Deco era design elements and simply replacing the windows with, a double pane, thicker glass that's more insulated and energy efficient, and replacing these green panels with the powder-coated stainless steel. And we'd like to maintain the green color as well, something similar to the original. That's the plan. And in terms of the signage, I actually submitted updated drawings. I'm not sure if you have those. But I have a hard copy that I could share with you that also describes you can have this, that actually describes what building materials we intend to use. So again, these would just be steel panels. We're going to keep this silver. I don't think we would paint black. We're not changing anything except
So the existing green panels are gonna stay and you're replacing that black area with steel, or are you putting up new green?
They're gonna be,
Putting up-
everything is gonna be new.
brand new. They're
Okay.
rotted. The panels that are currently there are rotting and rusting.
Okay,
So we're taking them off. We're having new stainless steel panels manufactured that are powder coated,
okay.
and then replacing these with those. So then, obviously, okay, I don't need to hold this up because you can see here. So we would be replacing the glass. There would be a concrete plinth here and a step. Originally, I had wanted to make it handicap accessible in the front of the property, but I learned that the code requires a foot in length for every inch of rise. So that wouldn't be possible for the front. We're going to pursue that for the rear entrance instead. And in terms of the sign, our plan is just to refurbish the sign, paint it to a color similar to the original to match the panels. And I do want to have light bright neon do a signage on the sign, 728 Broadway. So that's the plan.
You think you're the ones that we need to
No, same insurance coverage for the sign overhanging, obviously they have the clearance.
Yep.
So, and the white neon will be, it will be a white color on the green background?
Most likely white, yes, most likely, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really excited.
It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Pretty simple.
It's a really great, it's a beautiful building. It's small, but we started on the interior already. We're putting in all wood floors and gutted the inside and new sheetrock, and it's gonna be beautiful. I'm really excited. And it deserves that. It's an awesome little property.
And the powder coating is gonna hold up. which is
Yes,
nice that you're doing
yes,
that.
yes. In fact, probably have more longevity than.
Yeah, than anything else,
Right,
exactly.
It's a very modern process, and it's a really good look. So we're basically replacing all the old chrome that's all bent and falling off the building, will all be the new modern powder coated steel with beautiful, very 16th of an inch gap in between sort of separated panels.
It's gonna look
Be
really
very
nice.
nice look.
You're gonna hear the building just go. Are there any questions from any Heritage Commission members?
How deep is that building?
Um,
I probably should.
it's 2,200 square feet
Okay,
in total. There's
Yeah.
an apartment upstairs.
okay, that's where I was going. Okay, got it. So you have the ground floor in the back and they have the upstairs in the back. Okay.
It's one building.
It's one building.
Yeah,
Yeah, right, but whomever is renting the retail space, it doesn't, extend to the upstairs, right? But it does go,
you extend past where it's green.
It
Yes,
goes all
yes,
the way,
it goes all the way back.
to-
Yes.
Like to the back.
that's right, yes,
I think
yes.
the plan shows that. Okay.
You're leasing the downstairs to a business, or you are the business in the downstairs?
I own the building and I'm going to be leasing it out to a business. I'm
Okay,
not
that's
certain
right.
what business yet.
Okay, that's what I clarified.
Any other questions? Do I hear a motion to declare this type 2 action under seeker?
Motion?
Do I hear a second?
Second,
Motion's on the floor. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Kevin? Eddie?
aye.
Janet?
Aye.
I'm Bonnie, I vote aye. Do I hear a motion to approve the renovations to the outside of the building and the face as presented?
Motion made.
Do I hear a second?
Second?
That motion's on the floor. Any further questions, discussion? And now I'll call the roll. Janet?
Aye.
Eddie?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
I'm Bonnie, I vote aye.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Really appreciate your
Good luck.
time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, you guys.
Yeah.
So now we're diving into joint. Oh, we're talking about 49 Lindsley Avenue. I didn't mean to skip you, sorry.
I'm the homeowner, Charles Winchell, and this is, I'm Ryan Schumacher. I'm the consultant for Plug PV. Martha is the project manager that Ethan has been speaking with all along for the past couple of months. She wasn't able to make it today. She's actually on vacation. I'm here representing as well. And here we just go. going to put solar panels on the top.
Yep, just 14 panels, be 11 going on this side over here, 3 going over here. We'll have an inverter coming right down here, as they have all on the plan, so you guys should have everything up on there. We're gonna paint this conduit to match the color after it's inspected and everything, so it'll be nice and sleek. The panels are nice and flush mounted. So, you know, very clean black glass. These are the brand new panels. They're not the obscure panels that you used to see where they're all blue with grid lines through them and everything. Well, I mean, is there any specific questions or anything, you know, you guys need to know, or besides that?
Have a look at the straightforward.
Very, yeah, no. Green energy is good for all.
Are there any questions from any Heritage Commission members? Nothing from you, Sue?
No.
Do it.
Try the panel, and just,
Yeah.
you're using, it's, doesn't have the grid thing in it?
No, you won't be able to see them. It looks like black clean glass.
Yeah, I caught that, yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the way you would appear there.
Yep, exactly. It looks like basically, I always say when I talk with customers and stuff, it looks like just a bunch of iPhones on it.
Yeah.
Nice spot.
Do I hear a motion to declare this type 2 action under seeker?
Motion.
Do we hear a second?
Nettie second.
That motion's on the floor. Any further discussion? Yeah, call the roll. Kevin?
Aye.
Eddie?
Aye.
Janet?
Aye.
I'm Bonnie, I vote aye. Do I hear a motion to approve the installation of the solar panels and corresponding equipment as presented this evening?
Janet Marshall.
Do I hear a second?
Second, Nettie.
That motion's on the floor. Any further questions? Janet?
Aye.
Eddie?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
I'm Bonnie, I vote aye.
Awesome. Quick question. I know the permit process and everything is, so now it should be all finalized, or you guys have to send it back to the town? How does that work?
What will happen is, once we finish the minutes, they'll be sent out, you'll get the decision document, it gets copied to the Building Safety Division at the same time, so as soon as you get it, pretty much, you can just go down there. If you want to do it sooner, they usually will call up to the office and we can give them a verbal and they're good.
Okay, but usually like a week or two?
Yeah, at least a week.
Awesome.
Definitely.
All set. Thank you guys so much.
Yes, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Have a good night.
All right, thank you.
Now we're doing HLPC.
Hi, and I have the pleasure of recusing myself on this one. I still have an interest in the property next door. So should I leave the room or how do you want to do this? Okay.
Okay, so in Chairman Rumblett's, with his recusal, Kevin McAvoy will act as chair for this project.
So, yeah.
Hi.
We're going to open the floor for discussion. Anything, an update on it?
Something I did on the regional railroad chapter who owns the property. And July 10th, we had the pleasure of having some of you visit our property, and so now we're back.
Do you have any update for us on your end?
I wasn't planning to, we're just waiting for a decision.
Okay, Ethan had forwarded you a copy of a report that he updated on the windows.
I got that earlier this week.
Okay, just this past week. Do you have any thoughts on that? Any comments on that report? I know some of the, let's see, Andrea was there, Janet was there, Robert was there, and Bonnie was there, representing different commissions. So, I don't know if any of the commission members have any thoughts on that, additional thoughts on that report. I know we asked for any input to feedback if there were any changes. We did not get anything. The report as written, I thought was extremely well written and detailed. It does basically come to a conclusion that the windows are restorable.
That's what I kind of concluded.
Okay, all right. We didn't know if you wanted to comment on the report at all.
No.
Okay. Okay. All right. Any commissioners have any comments that they want to add?
It really was, it's a beautiful building, stunning building.
Thank you.
Yes.
Well, Commissioners, we have two ways to go here. You can approve it, or you can not approve it. I'll read the motions, and then we'll call for the vote on each.
We need to do seeker first,
Okay,
Kevin.
sorry, well, let's do secret. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to declare this a type 2 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act.
Getting Robinson.
We have a second on the secret.
Andrew Pugh, second.
Okay, we'll call roll. Andrew?
Aye.
Aye.
And I'll vote in the affirmative on secret. So we've on that one. Okay. I'll start with the motion that would approve this. Introducing the motion that the commissioners present find as fact that the proposed window replacement and shutter repair replacement at 106-122 Green Street in the Stockade Historic District by the applicant owner, Wiltwyck chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution, If done according to the plans reviewed at this meeting and according to the procedures stipulated in section 405-26, that's the new code, 405-26.
Yes, that's the new
Okay,
code.
that's the new code. Of the City of Kingston's form-based code, it states it there, is compatible with the historic character of the historic district for the following reasons. That the proposed work is to take place at the 2.5-story Georgian almost square block with an extension to the rear, which is believed to have been built between 1660 and 1695 by Anthony Crispell. At some point, the property owners Georgianized the structure to conform with contemporary social and architectural trends. By the time of the American Revolution, it was owned by Henry Slight and was burned in 1777. It is reported that George Washington, Governor Clinton, the Tapans, the Slights, and the Winecoops are related to the building. The structure was rebuilt in 1794 by John Tapan, a lawyer, who was editor and proprietor of the Ulster Plebeian, a Democratic newspaper of the early 19th century. It is said to have been printed on the second floor of the house from 1813 until his death. The book and stationery store was also operated out of the structure in the lower front corner along Green Street. In 1907, the house was purchased by the local chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution and has been maintained as a museum since then. Information is sourced from the March 3rd, 1974 and July 1987 building structure inventory housed at the New York State Historic Preservation Office's Digital Cultural Resource Information System. That's CRIS, if you're familiar. The windows are proposed to be 6/6 double hung wood replacement windows in the same style as the 1910 windows. Any changes or additions to the plans and or work specifically described and outlined in the submitted application will be subject to further review by our commission prior to the work being carried out. The commission's approval does not obviate the need for a building permit from the City of Kingston's Building Safety Division or any other required approvals from relevant coordinating agencies. Based on preceding findings of fact, it is proposed to resolve that on the second, how about the 24th day of August 2023? Am I right?
Yes, that's a typo.
Okay. The commission grants a preservation notice of action to the above referenced applicant for the work as described herein and in its application to the commission. Such notice to be subject to the conditions contained in the foregoing motion. Do I have a second?
May I make a comment?
Well, I think we'll get to that in a second, but do we have a second? Well, that motion's going to fail without a second, so the chair recognizes you.
In the opening, near the opening
Yes.
of that motion, shutters were mentioned, and there was never any shutters mentioned in any of the applications that we put before either of the committees.
I was going to question that.
Okay.
I don't remember it ever. We mentioned it when we were walking, but I don't remember it being part of the conversation.
I think it was
There was talk about when we
originally
took
at the
the
very
shutters
beginning, that
down
the shutters had been taken
because of the
down
safety
and they were
issue.
going to be restored. Right.
Well, that's to be determined in the future. The
Okay.
first part was,
Okay,
we need to deal with the
fair,
window.
okay, fair statement.
I just want to make that very clear.
Okay. Yeah, I think there was some back and forth on the history of the shutters. I think, at some
Yeah,
point.
not about this application. This was strictly the windows.
Correct.
Okay, so that's duly noted. But the motion does not have a second. So I don't think it's going anywhere. That brings us to the second motion. And we'll introduce this as well. introducing the motion that the commissioners present find as fact that the replacement of the existing windows at 106-122 Green Street in the Stockade Historic District by the Wilkwood chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution, if done according to the plans reviewed at this meeting and at prior meetings, according to the procedures stipulated in section 405-26 of the City of Kingston's Form-Based Code, is not compatible with the historic character of the district for the following reasons. That the proposed work is to take place at the 2.5-story Georgian almost square block with an extension in the rear, is believed to have been built between 1660 and 1695 by Anthony Crispell. At some point, the property owners Georgianized structure to conform with contemporary social and architectural trends. By the time of the American Revolution, it was owned by Henry Sleight and was burned in 1777. It is reported that George Washington, Governor Clinton, the Pans, Sleights, and the Winecoops are all related to the dwelling. This structure was rebuilt in 1794 by John Tappan, a lawyer, who was editor and proprietor of the Ulster Plebeian, a Democratic newspaper of the early 19th century. It was said to have been printed on the second floor of the house from 1813 until its death. A book and stationery store were also operated out of the structure in the lower front corner room along Green Street. In 1907, the house was purchased by the Wilkwood chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution and has been maintained as a museum since then. The information is sourced from the March 3rd, 1974 and July 1987 building inventory structure housed at the New York State Historic Preservation Office's Digital Cultural Resource Information System, CAMIS, CRIS. And that documentation and evidence provided by the owner applicant is not sufficient to demonstrate that the existing historic wooden windows are beyond repair, and then first replacing the existing windows is the only option. That site visit was conducted on July 11th, 2023, and commissioners and staff were in attendance and observed and found the existing windows to be in restorable condition, a material reality that runs contrary to the position held by the applicant and shared with the commission in 2022. That, based on said site inspection, comprehensive review of the application materials and documents presented, and the U.S. Secretary of Interior standards for rehabilitation, the City Historic Preservation Administrator prepared a window assessment report to document conditions, and the HLPC has had the opportunity to review and consider that document. That the existing windows, we're going to omit shutters.
Yes.
No shutters. The existing windows must be restored to maintain the structure's historical integrity. That the applicant shall engage a qualified historic preservation professional approved by the city staff to undertake and complete the restoration work in accordance with industry standards using the U.S. Secretary of Interior preservation briefs as a guide. That the owner shall initiate a regular schedule of maintenance going forward to continue the condition standards. Any changes or additions to the plans and or work specifically described in this determination will be subject to further review by the Historic Landmarks Preservation Commission prior to the work being carried out. That the Commission's director for restoration over removal does not obviate the need for a building permit from the City of Kingston's Building Division or any other required approvals from relevant coordinating agencies. Based on the preceding findings of fact, it is proposed to resolve that on this 24th day of August 2023, the Commission
Denied.
Oh, it's in caps. Oh, I thought it was Department of,
These letters, it's a lot of words.
Oh, so they put an acronym.
Yeah, I see, DEN1, that's a new one. Deny, the commission denied the request for replacement and grant a preservation notice of action to the above referenced applicant for window restoration as described herein, such notice to be subject to the conditions contained in the foregoing motion. Do I have a second?
Second, Robert.
Okay, we'll call the roll. Andrew?
Aye.
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 I'll vote in the affirmative with the other commissioners.
Yep, secret, and then you can just accept the.
Okay, do I hear a motion from the Harry Dairy Commission member to facilitate to action on procedure?
Minnie Brown, so moved.
Do I hear a second?
Janet Clark, second.
Motion's on the floor. Call the roll, Kevin?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
Janet?
Aye.
And Bonnie, I vote aye. Do I hear a motion to, what's the language I want to make sure I said this right, to agree to the denial of the
Recommend that the approval as granted by HLPC be adopted.
be adopted? Do I hear a motion? Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, Kevin, that motion on the floor, any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call roll. Janet? Nettie?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
And I'm Bonnie, I vote aye.
Will we be receiving copies of these?
Absolutely, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, secret.
He's in.
Sleeping?
He was rolling. No, he's rolling. Chambers is completely different than that night. It's wrong. It's cool.
Back for next time.
Tom's back.
Aye.
Number seven.
'95 Queen Street?
Yes.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. I'm Silver Leonidas, the current owner of 95 Queen Street. So we're here to present the replacement of the windows for the two small windows that you see, the top left and the top right, which are bottom right, which are the current locations of the kitchens that are being remodeled. So at the top right, that's where we have the current kitchen that's going to be removed. And you see the plan, I don't know if you guys can move over the plan. Oh, yeah, this illustrates it. So what we want to do is be able to have the kitchens be stacked one over the other. Part of the issue with having that design, or having that the risers there, is that the current window at the second floor, the sill height is very low. So I can't move any of the sink or cabinets because of stress that.
So that's part of the, me proposing having that smaller window removed, and then have, if you want to bring up the picture with the diagram. Yeah, I mean, this could show that, but the original window, which is the one on the top right, I would like to relocate that and move over to the left so I can keep the original intact windows. And then have these two new windows to have mimic the same look. That's pretty much what I'm. And I think there's an image that can show you the actual detail around the window. And I have Mike here, who is the previous owner, and his grandfather built the house. So,
He renovated it. Well, it was built in 1895.
Right, but
if my grandfather bought it and renovated it in 1972, making it two-family from one family way back. And then my mother bought it from him in 79, and my parents lived there until they both passed away. And I was the last owner, but didn't know it there, so I sold it.
And I think you mentioned that those windows are not the original windows, the small little windows.
No, they were put in by my grandfather when they remodeled in 72, and they were tiny. We're talking about like a 12 by 18 window. They
So
were
the small, you said the smaller squares were put in 72?
Thereabouts, yeah, about 1972. Full wood frame, but they're not in best, they weren't in the best of condition this year.
Do you know what they replaced? I mean, any idea, any sense of what they replaced?
I don't honestly. When my grandfather bought it in 1972, it had a massive fire in it up the center of the house, so it was a gut reno at that point. So anything was there originally, except for the front doors on the, not on this elevation, on the front elevation, the left side of the place had two double doors. Those were original. But the overall look of the windows in the house was changed in 1972.
So you don't know where the little windows are now, if those used to be big windows, you can't tell.
There isn't, I mean, you would have to, you have to contact my grandfather.
Oh, but you haven't seen behind the wall.
No. I mean, it probably, if you opened up, at least on the second floor, if you opened up that framing, probably would have shown that it was infilled and shown it originally was. Because it was honestly originally a balloon frame building. My grandfather changed that to standard framing, so to avoid.
So being that this was where the sink was, the location of the sink,
That was
was a lot of rotted wood there. So underneath, it's really not that great. Yeah.
That's the original window, that tiny little window, which it looks a little out of scale because I think it's 12 inches tall, but I thought it was closer to 18 inches wide.
Front, rear image, right? This should probably give you more a sense of that.
Yeah, look at the tiny ones. The upstairs one is smaller, but it's tiny. And it's not, it was, like I said, if you see I think when my grandfather did it, he tried to keep that same, the upper frame piece above the windows, even on the small ones. I think he re-scribed them and put them in so it matched the original.
And that's what the exact will be as well with the new windows.
But the new windows are going to look the same. They're going to look the same as the bigger ones on the left and on the upper right. The new windows are going to look the same.
So the two windows that are there, the 2/2s, they're staying as is.
Well, I think he said.
No, I want to bring that window
to the left.
To the left.
Top
Swap it
right
over.
will move to the left.
Okay.
So I can
That will get a new window and the one below will be new.
So you're replacing the existing, what's there. Are they restorable?
They're
the little ones.
The little ones?
No, the big ones.
That one's restorable. I could bring that over.
Well, he's gonna move that to the left.
Okay,
So
that's
he's
what
gonna
I'm
retain
saying.
that. The one on the bottom left, he's not
I'm
touching.
not touching.
Yeah, so it's just the little one on the
'Cause that's
right
a
that's getting
bedroom.
completely replaced. And from that top right one that's getting moved, that will need a new window.
Correct. And that's gonna be a dining, a living room and a bedroom, so that's why I wanna be able to have bigger windows, bring in some light. You get a lot of light there, so.
Can I ask a question about size? Because this picture versus that doesn't really jive. In this picture, it looks like the window that you're moving over is the same, is smaller in height than the one below it.
Yes.
And then the two that are going on this side are smaller still. So are the two bottom ones gonna be the same size and the two top ones gonna be the same size?
Unfortunately, I can't do that with the right
Got
because of the kitchen being there, it's cabinet.
Right.
So that's.
These two are gonna match.
These two are gonna match. This side is the top ones are always smaller, so the top one is moving over, so that one's smaller and that one's larger.
Larger, got it.
Then there's two of the same size now,
Yeah.
the new kitchens are.
That's what I
Yeah.
thought I saw here, but the outlines threw me on that. Perfect.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
that's the way it is.
I have a question on visibility from the street.
So that's a one-way street. If you're driving, you come
If
in.
you're driving on that street, you don't see that side of the house. You'd have
If
to
you
turn
drive
around.
around, you walk
Right,
right.
but it'd be visible from the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Yes, oh yes, there's a parking lot right in front of it, so.
The driveway.
Where he's standing right now is the driveway.
It's a driveway.
Not parking.
Got
It's a
it.
driveway.
Yeah.
He's standing in the driveway there, so, and there's no screening in the back of the house.
So the windows is one thing, and then I think I'm proposing also having some slim condensing units at the rear of the property, which I'm trying to tuck in and hide behind that porch and have the coverage, so, I'll be able to have some screening there. Right, so kind of small, but pretty much it's the slim condensing units. I had my mechanical engineer spec out something slim, so it's not put coverage in the setbacks, so I would say that.
And you definitely can't see that from the street. Because I lived there I was resident there until the age of 21, but my father died a year and a half ago. And you can't see anything back there.
Yeah.
Because that driveway actually raises up and there is like 4 steps down to get into that level where you walk into the porch. So that's low and in the back and you're never gonna be able to see it.
Your application mentioned a flagstone walkway that you're installing. Where
So, I don't know if you have any more
is that
mentions.
on the
If you bring it down.
side, which, that's not what you're looking at right there.
No, so I'm keeping the original stone that's on the sidewalk.
Okay.
I was able to set it to be
Okay,
level, so I had my masons level everything all the way through the entire corner.
okay,
So, I'm keeping everything as original. The only thing that's changing is within the driveway, I'm paving, so it's nice and flat.
okay, so you're just resetting the stone,
Correct.
not installing.
No, I'm not replacing
Okay,
any
all
of
right,
it.
so then we're taking
I think there's an image where I'm showing that.
reset.
A photograph?
Yeah, it's a photograph. And I know I'm pointing to the wrong thing, but you'll see what I was trying to do. Oh, yeah, that one. So I'm just taking all the stone that was there, resetting it and re-leveling where I could. And I was able to purchase some old stuff that they're resetting on that.
Okay, and you mentioned Belgian block, so.
Yeah, there's a
where's
little,
that going?
I did a little strip there, right at the,
In between the curb and the blue stone.
so the new Belgian block, it's flat.
Oh,
here.
it's in the back.
It's in the back, yeah.
Okay. Okay, and so you're paving from the back end of the cobble then
Yes, and
to
yeah, from the
to
property.
that red line?
So that's all original, I'm not touching any of that.
Okay.
That concrete wall is there, it was damaged, it was all falling apart, and it's old concrete. And I'm actually restoring it with field stone, so that's a better natural look.
Okay,
Is there a question about a shed?
that's going.
I removed it, it's a plastic old shed that was there.
Yeah, my parents were dead.
Yeah.
I was just presenting it to you guys.
That was my father's. pickup truck and my mother's CRV. I don't know where you guys got this picture. My father hasn't had that truck in like 2 years or more.
Yeah, but that's pretty much what we're doing here. We're trying to keep the house at the original.
Any questions from folks from HLPC? How do you feel about the windows shifting and replacing? Right. All right, we go first. I'll entertain a motion that we declare this a type 2 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act.
So moved, Robert.
Thank you, Roberts. Is that a second from you? Thank you, Andrea. All right, any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Andrea?
Aye.
Eddie?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
I also vote yes. Now.
Serious.
Last one.
All right, I hereby move that our commission find as fact that the proposed window replacement and modifications, HVAC condenser installation and site work at 95 Home Street in the Rhinebeck Historic District by owner Jose Ramirez is done according to the plans reviewed at this meeting and according to the procedure stipulated under section 405-26 of the City of Kingston's form-based code. Ooh, that's the first time I've said that. Is compatible with the historic character of the district for the following reasons. The proposed work is to take place at the multi-unit 2.5-story 3-sided Bay Gothic revival dwelling at the southwest corner of Hone and Pierpont Streets that, according to the Friends of Historic Kingston's January 1977 building structure inventory form, informs us that it is the only Gothic revival house in this area dating to circa 1890. And which does not appear on the 1880 Berlin map of Kingston. The substantial house, which combines Gothic and Italianate features, is interesting because of the late date of its construction. It retains its detailing and has received no major modern alterations on the exterior. However, the interior was gutted by a fire, with the staircase being the only original surviving interior feature. The applicant will move one window and replace 2 smaller windows on the rear of the structure with 2x2 as submitted. That the applicant shall install 2 HVAC units on the southeastward face of the structure near the rear porch and entryway with wooden screening. Applicant shall remove the existing plastic shed and plant shrubs along the property lines at the plan. At the existing asphalt driveway shall be repaved, sloping to direct drainage for collection on site. That the applicant shall already install the Belgian block apron inside the property line and adjacent to the stone sidewalk. The applicant may construct a dry stack stone retaining wall at the eastern end of the driveway and a mortared retaining wall that will run along the driveway near the house. All right, and that the applicant will reset the flagstone walkways. That any changes or additions to the plans of work specifically described and outlined in the submitted application will be subject to further review by our commission prior to the work being carried out. Our commission's approval does not obviate the need for a building permit in the City of Kingston's Building Safety Division or any other required approvals from relevant coordinating agencies. Based upon the preceding findings of fact, I move that on this 24th day of August, 2023, our commission grant a preservation notice of action, the above referenced applicant for the work as described herein in his application to the commission, such notice to be subject to the conditions contained in the foregoing motion. Do I have a second?
Can you repeat the second?
Thank you, Andrea. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Kevin?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
Andrea?
Aye.
I also vote yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you for the
That's right.
we don't often get that, and that was really wonderful for us to hear how it came brought, how your grandpa brought it back to life after the fire.
Yeah, I mean, it was a long time ago. My grandfather was looking for investment property. He owned several houses in the Kingston area and lived himself in the Ackworth area.
All right, so hang on, I'm going to hand things over to Bonnie for their.
Do I hear a motion to declare this a type 2 action as a seeker from an HAC member?
Motion.
Do I hear a second? Second. Motion on the floor. Any further discussion? All roll. Janet? Aye. Nettie? Aye. Kevin?
Aye.
I'm Bonnie, I vote aye. Do I hear a motion to approve the relocation and replacement of windows, installation of HVAC, and site work on 95 Home Street as presented tonight? Eddie Brown, so moved. Do I hear a second on that?
Janet Moore.
That motion's on the floor. Any further discussion? No? Call the roll. Janet?
Aye.
Nettie? Aye. Kevin?
Aye.
I'm Bonnie, I vote aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Next up, 81 West Pierpont Street.
He is not here tonight, but Paul Jankovich is here. You recall this one came to us last month. And commissions tabled the application, wanting additional information from the Building Safety Division, and also for Corporation Council to work with staff and review that documentation. As it turns out, the proposal had gotten permits from the Building Safety Division. The building permit reads for roof replacement, but the detailed scope of work that was incorporated within that included a series of internal work to be done, as well as a lot of external work to be done. We looked at our recommendations that was to be returned to commissions before any additional work was done. That did not happen. The decisions did get copied to the Building Safety Division. The permit was issued in error. So we have written it's not an official preservation notice of action. We have written some language to retroactively recognize the project elements. It's not really a formal approval or a disapproval. With the following, that the proposed work is to take place at a two-story structure with gable end facing West Pierpont Street, which is located on the north side of West Pierpont, midway between McEntee and Home, which according to photographs stored in the City of Kingston Assessor's Office, likely served as a single or multi-unit dwelling since at least the 1950s, and which appears on the 1887 Sanborn map, having been built before that. Possibly a reconstruction of the building appearing on the same lot on the 1870 Beers map of Rhonda, Kingston, and Wilbur. But according to the September 2019 HLPC and HAC determinations, the applicant was supposed to have returned with greater detail of the colors, materials, and design to planning staff for review and approval, and that the applicant knowingly did not do as requested of them. That the City of Kingston's Building and Safety Division mistakenly approved the applicant's permit application on September 20th, 2023. I can't remember, is that right? 20. Without confirming either the HAC nor HLPC's determination. That the HAC and HLPC would not have approved the applicant's proposed alterations if the applicant had returned to the commissions, that the applicant must contact the planning department for advisement and review before undertaking any future projects that might alter the structure's exterior appearance. We talked about this with Corporation Council. If you decided not to retroactively recognize, you could reject it. It would turn into probably a legal battle. We don't know what kind of standing we would officially have at this point, since the building permits were actually issued. And the applicant, knowing whether he knew or not, recognized it was an error on both parts. There's equal responsibility here. The applicant didn't come back as requested. but the city of Kingston did issue a permit.
Permits are closed. Good, they have to see a
The
lot.
permit is not closed yet because of this issue.
Okay. That's it.
All right, so what's done cannot be undone. It was done with the city's approval. Is there anything we can do at this point to make sure things pop up at the building department?
Well, I think, you know, what has happened since this, since the reviews in 2019, the decisions were going solely to one party in building safety. They are now going to multiple people in that department. So pretty much everybody in the department gets a copy of the decision by email. So that puts more people on notice so that as reviews are taking place, more people are aware. They've also been much more proactive in reviewing applications that come forward and identifying them as whether either being located in HAC boundary or within the landmarks boundaries. So they are more proactive now. And this, granted, this happened, you know, back in 2019. We were undergoing COVID in 20 when a lot of this happened. So there was a lot of things going on as well. I know that's not an excuse, but it did happen. It's not horrible. It's not maybe what we would have authorized. I don't think the commission would have authorized all the extent of the improvements made, but it is not in the historic district. It is just on the perimeter. So it would be an advisory opinion as well.
Okay. I think were you on the commission at that point in 2019?
Was I?
Yeah.
I think I was.
Yes, you were.
I saw it.
Yeah, I think you and I are the only ones who have been on at that point. And this is an example of stuff that happened a lot more frequently in years before that. That's-
Yeah, we were there too. Yeah.
I'm putting it way back further. I must be misremembering. Either that or. All right. But I thank you for catching it. Thank you for setting this out. On behalf of Historic Landmarks, I think that noting this is fair to both the building department and to the homeowner who at this point relied on the city, even though this did not get the approval on the kind of detail we saw. And so I would argue in favor of sending this out, and it's a lesson learned.
Like I have agree with that. You
Yeah.
know, and also if it was in the landmarks district, then I would say no. Because it's a building that's been basically destroyed. I mean, it's a fine building, but the integrity has been destroyed. So if it would, but since it's on the border and all this kind of stuff, I'd say we let it go.
Right, I think you're right. It's a difference between an advisory opinion. If we were able to issue a binding opinion, we could insist on the building department keeping at the very least a notice of violation in the file, which would turn up if they showed up again. All right, any other questions, comments? I'll take a vote of HLPC members that we send this out as written with the one date correction.
Making the motion to send it out.
I am moving. Yeah.
Okay, so you need a second. Second.
Thank you, Nettie. Any further discussion? I'll call the roll. Andrea?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
Robert? Kevin? Aye. I also vote yes.
And I make the motion to send it out. I have a second. HAC. Second, Kevin. Any other comments? On the roll, Janet. Aye. Nettie. Aye. Kevin.
Aye.
Bonnie, aye.
All right, next up is 322 Wall Street.
Hi.
Oh, hi, Gabe.
Hi, how are you?
I'm happy to see you.
Good to see you too. So we were here before and you guys approved the painting of our building, 322 Wall Street. But you had questions about the windows. So we had a historic preservationist come and he assured us that the second floor windows are not historical and in fact need to be replaced because they're fairly in bad shape. And then the third floor windows are historic, so they could be preserved if that's how you guys think it should go. I could tell you that the only concern we have is, I don't know, we sent you a picture of a similar building, and we would just worry about the cohesive look of the building simply because to have a new building, new windows on the first and second floor, and then these older windows on the top, we're not sure that that is really a great look, but if they have to be preserved, I mean, the block itself is sort of a mishmash. I mean, if you look at the windows on that block, it's like you see everything from crappy 80s windows to preserved windows, so there's really quite an array. And when we picked out the paint colors, we kind of went with somebody with an older building and newer windows because we assumed that's what we were gonna need to do. But again, we're willing to preserve them if that's the look that you guys somehow find more cohesive. And that's really the only reason we would we would say new is only because the look on the 3 floors would just not, it would not look the same throughout the building, but I mean, we really, whatever you guys want us to do, we will do.
I mean, I think, I understand what you're saying, but I think that the restoration of the windows is an important element. I think that should be done, and I think that in choosing the window that replaces that second floor, I think that's going to be the key to making it cohesive. So you would choose a style and design that would complement and work together. That would be my thought.
Okay, I have been told, it's a little bit confusing because we got a grant, so I don't know. Makes it very complicated. So welcome to no free money. So basically we had people come and they told us like, this is a very big window and these are the types of windows you really have to have, that the other windows don't exist anymore, and this and that, and they had their reasons, and we liked those people and we thought they were upfront and they gave us the price, and that's what we based our application on. And then, the city of Kingston doesn't allow you to use those people. So we don't know who we're working with. So it's really hard for us. Like, I know you guys want to know exactly what windows, and we have the windows that were suggested to us, but it'd be a lot easier if we knew who we were working with so that we could do it the way you guys would like.
Well, what the commission could do is if they authorize the replacement of the second story windows, that could be worked through staff. We can work with the city grant people at staff level to make sure that whatever gets put in there is complementary. But I think that my opinion as staff is to restore the upper windows as the professional is advised.
Okay.
Is there any historic pictures of the front of the building? I mean, was that the second floor?
It was not a large picture.
It wasn't?
No. I think that's pretty much what the guy was getting at.
Yeah, he said there's no way.
Yeah,
It's original, he was original.
So it's probably like 3 of those or something?
To go back to 3, you mean?
Oh, yeah.
No, I mean, obviously the opening is there, I think.
No, I
Yeah.
what was there.
Right, I think he thinks it probably mimicked the second floor and the third floor were identical.
Yeah.
Either that or it was a pair.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be great if it's looked like that, but
And in between,
alas, that's what.
maybe in between there, and literally, so there's three on top, and
Yes.
two at the bottom.
It's possible, you know, to keep it within the opening.
And balance.
Yeah, I mean, I personally, I don't think that looks right, but it's possible that's what was there.
Yeah, and I mean, if we could, you know, work with whoever to figure out the correct window, we would happily put one that would work on the second floor with the restored windows.
Right.
I mean, we don't even really care, we're like, let's just get something, you know? So really, it's not gonna look worse, so.
That's true.
All right, Genya, I need you to restate your name for the record.
Okay, my name is Genya Wickliner, and I'm here on behalf of, this is my father's building, Getty Steakhouse.
Okay. Any questions from the HLPC member for Genya? How does everyone feel about the idea of leaving the precise design to staff? I think one thing it provides is speed.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I think we have to get your okay before we can even find out who is going to do the stuff, so it's like.
Oh,
It's
a real chicken and egg.
Yes, yeah, it is, so
Right.
we just like to get to know who it's doing.
All right. Any other questions? Seeing none, I will ask for a motion that we declare this type 2 action under seeker.
Andrea, P. so moved.
Thank you. Do I hear a second? Thank you, Kevin. All in, any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Kevin?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
Andrea?
Aye.
I also vote aye. All right. I move that the commission find this fact that the proposed window replacement and exterior painting at 322 Wall Street in the Stockade Historic District by Getty Spartauskas is done according to the plans reviewed at this meeting and according to the procedures stipulated in section 405-26 of the City of Kingston's form-based code is compatible with the historic character of the district for the following reasons. The proposed work is to take place in an existing 3-story storefront building constructed in the mid-1800s. That the applicant has produced a window condition assessment by Kurt Reigel of Reigel Restoration, a historic wood window specialist from Sydney, New York, which satisfactorily demonstrated that the large second floor window is not original to the structure, is in disrepair and cannot be salvaged, and that the third story 6/6 wooden windows are original and can and should be restored. That the applicant may replace the existing second story window with a window authorized by city staff, but must restore the third story wooden windows, engaging a historic preservation professional to undertake the work in accordance with the U.S. Secretary of Interior standards for rehabilitation. That the owner will engage in a regular maintenance program once restoration is complete to continue the condition standards. That any changes or additions to the plans of work specifically described and outlined in the submitted application will be subject to further review by our commission prior to that work being carried out. That the commission's approval does not obviate the need for a building permit from the City of Kingston's Building Safety Division or any other required approvals from relevant coordinating agencies. Based on the preceding findings of fact, I move that on this 24th day of August, 2023, our commission grant a preservation notice of action to the above referenced applicant for the work as described herein and in his application to the commission, such notice to be subject to the conditions contained in the foregoing motion. Do I hear a second?
Second, Andrea.
Thank you, Andrea. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Kevin?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
Andrea?
Aye.
I also vote aye. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Do I hear a motion from that HAC member to put us to action under seeker? So moved. Do I hear a second? Sharon Mark. Discussions on the floor, any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Janet? Aye. Nettie? Aye. Kevin?
Aye.
And Bonnie, I vote aye. Do I hear a motion to approve the replacement of the second story window, working with staff for approval, and the restoration of the third floor windows for 322 Wall Street as discussed tonight? Janet Marshall, do I hear a second?
Right.
That's discussion. That motion on the floor. Any further discussion? You're now call roll. Kevin?
Aye.
Nettie? Aye. Janet?
Aye.
Bonnie, I vote aye.
Great, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Good luck. Good luck.
Thank you.
61
I got this
Crown.
part. Thank you.
Again, you can have a quick word with you on the
Oh, sure.
Thank you. Hi. Give us a quick overview, if you don't mind.
We're restoring the 61 Crown, that's the Sione building.
And Paul, please give your name for the record, I'm sorry.
Pardon?
Your name.
You need to say.
Paul Frankus, architect.
Thank you.
Okay, restoring the 61 Crown Street building, formerly known or currently known as the Sione building. And in our work to restore the wood trim throughout the facade, we discovered that the underlying paint was actually white instead of this off-color yellow. And we were priming the building, and we basically saw how much better the building looked in white. And we would like to propose going back to the original color of the facade. And we have selected snowbound white as the choice. And we think that it is a pure white, and it reflects the other structures, older structures in the neighborhood. So that is all the wood elements, the window trim, the pediment, so forth. We would like to go with the white color. We found this old photograph, and we took it off paint, and we discovered that the underlying paint was white. So that's our plan right now. If the board accepts it, we will continue to complete our work and put a final coat on the trim.
Yeah, well, like that, kind of looks great.
I think it was, yeah.
Matt, I have to ask you a question.
Yes.
I have an interest in the property across Green Street. Should I recuse?
It's not necessary, but if you do feel that
Yeah, something like paint color. I don't feel like that. Okay. All right, thank you. Any other questions? Seems like pretty straightforward. All right, then I will entertain a motion that we declare this decision a type 2 action under seeker.
So moved, Robert.
Thank you, Robert. A second?
Andrew, please second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Kevin?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
Andrea?
Aye.
I also vote yes. And I move that our commission find as fact that the proposed exterior modifications for the 18-month temporary relocation of the Kingston Library to be located at 61 Crown Street in the Stockade Historic District owned by 61 Crown Street LLC, if done according to the plans reviewed at this meeting and according to the procedures stipulated in section 405-26 of the City of Kingston's form-based code, is compatible with the historic character of the district for the following reasons. The proposed work is to take place at the 2.5-story former City of Kingston School District's administrative building, known as the Sione Building, stands midway between North Front and John Streets, fronting Reed Street to the west, that the applicant is permitted to paint the structure's exterior wooden trim in Sherwin-Williams SW 7004 snowbound white. That any changes or additions to the plans or work specifically described and outlined in the submitted application will be subject to further review by our commission prior to the work being carried out. That the commission's approval does not obviate the need for a building permit from the City of Kingston's Building Safety Division or any other required approvals from relevant coordinating agencies. Based on the preceding findings of fact, I move that on this 24th day of August, 2023, our commission grant a preservation notice of action to the above referenced applicant with work as described herein and in its application to the commission, such notice to be subject to the conditions contained in the foregoing motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you, Kevin. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Andrea?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Kevin? And I also vote yes. To you, Bonnie.
Do I hear a motion from an HAC member to declare this a type 2 action under seeker? Nettie, Rob, so moved. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion's on the floor, any further discussion? And then I'll call the roll. Nettie? Aye. Janet?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Bonnie, I vote aye. Do I hear a motion to approve the painting of the wood trim to snowbound white of 61 Crown Street? Janet Marcel, do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion's on the floor, any further discussion? And then I'll call the roll. Nettie? Aye. Janet? Aye. Kevin?
Aye.
And Bonnie, I vote aye.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Good evening. Next up, 135 Hunter Street.
Oh, no, you didn't.
Switch direction.
Yeah, right.
This one is you.
Good evening. If you could introduce yourself and give us a quick overview of the.
Sure. My name is Dylan Kapowitz. I'm the owner at 135 Hunter Street. My father bought the building in 1982 and I inherited it in August of 2020. And so the proposed work that we want to do is mostly restorative. We want to repoint the entire building and repaint the trim and finish the entryway. So that's an older photo. So there's a temporary staircase that goes up to the parlor floor. And so we want to refinish, we just want to finish the entryway ultimately as well. And then I think the other big modification would be fencing the backyard as well. I think that's it. I just want to kind of start a dialogue between both the commissions as I go forward with this pretty big renovation. So I'm the general contractor as well. I think it's the general contractor.
So the proposed staircase is going to go straight out like that one?
Yeah, and it would widen out. It would
Okay.
it would go to the edges of the
Right.
current entryway. So originally the entryway was like a longer enclosed porch. And I think my father demoed that 40 years ago.
Okay,
And
so you're not planning to do like a deck coming out?
No,
Or
no,
else
it would
like
just-
a porch?
Yeah, we just leave the entryway as is and fence out the current entryway.
All right,
Other than then another kind of big thing would be the stained glass at the top of the entryway. And so that, he put in that entryway and those doors.
really?
Yeah. I think this is probably the first time that anyone related to this building has been in this room proposing things.
Having been around for over 20 years, you are right.
Yes, so yeah, my father did most of the work himself. He was a general contractor. And then this was the support beam on the west facing wall is tentative. I still have to get that checked out by a structural engineer. There's a little bowing. So that would also, that's tentative as well. I think maybe in the proposal as well that I sent to Ethan, there's water damage in the basement on the east side wall. And so there was also a chance that we wanted to do a French drain to stop some water damage.
This is exciting. This building has
Yeah.
frozen.
Yeah, frozen in time.
Yes.
Yeah.
For a very long time.
Yeah, it's been vacant essentially, yeah, since he bought it, essentially it's been vacant.
Well, he cleaned it up in some ways, I'd say.
He tried.
But it stayed with those lines you would probably know better than I, something on the order of 30 years.
Yeah, at least, yeah. So, yeah, I think the big modification, or not even modification, is just the restoring the pointing. The pointing is really, really bad. And so, I don't know if that's something that I can talk to you guys about finding contractors that would be approved to do that too. I was having trouble finding.
Yeah, we can't obviously give you a name of someone to go to, but if you find somebody, you want to ask us about them, we can certainly give you what our experience has been with them. But yeah, in pointing, you want to pay attention to the type of mortar and that's used when you are undertaking the work, or whomever is undertaking the work. There are some preservation briefs that we can provide you that will give you some guidance on that. That may steer you in the direction of a mason.
Okay.
But there are a few in the area that really do this historic kind of work, and they do good quality work. So they are there. They are out there.
Good. Great.
Yeah. So are you considering the stairs that you put in, are you considering them like a temporary type of staircase until you move to?
So the stairs that are currently there are temporary stairs, just.
Right, but the ones that you're proposing to put in,
No, those would be
are
the
those
final.
going to be more permanent, or are they still going to be like a temporary thing? Because originally there was a porch that ran across the whole face of the building, and I didn't know if, that's in your plans down the road, and this is just kind of a temporary staircase, or if this is going to be more
I'm kind of just
permanent.
following the style that my father had started with the entryway, and I was just going to leave it as is and make it a permanent staircase.
Okay. And you said you're going wider, so are you bringing it out to the white? Behind it on your side?
Exactly.
Got it, okay.
Yeah.
So you'll have a little landing up there.
Yeah, there'll be a landing,
Yeah.
exactly.
So I was just trying to get at that, if they're gonna be more permanent, that maybe we incorporate some more decorative type balustrades or something that's kind of works with other staircases, entry staircases in the neighborhood. You can look around, and then that would be a detail, I think, stack.
Okay.
That would be a recommendation.
Something code related I would be mindful of is where the position of the lamp is, especially based on how far out your fixture projects. It should be the bottom of the fixture needs to be at least 6'8" from your deck to the bottom of the fixture. Either that or pick a more flush light fixture. I think it's 4 inches it can project out without impeding the 6'8" height. The 6'8" is about the size of the door.
Yeah, I had commented on the gooseneck fixture. To me, I don't know that didn't quite seem right for an entry light. I mean, it's just my personal, I don't know how how the commission feels, but it's really grand build. I love the building, and I was just trying to think of a style that would be more in keeping with that. Yeah,
that's fine.
I mean, that neighborhood again.
Right.
Yeah, I love the building.
Yeah, I'm really excited, really excited. It'll be our primary residence as well.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions from an HLPC member? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to declare this a type 2 action under seeker. Thank you, Kevin. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Robert wins. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Andrea?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
I also vote in the affirmative. All right, I move that the. Whoa.
We got a lot more.
We get to
You can
take
tell us the
them.
first time.
It's a motion that we go to the Heritage Area Commission. Or this one.
Right.
Yes, nice try that.
I'm in no rush.
I move that the commission find its fact that the proposed facade repointing, front porch repairs, installation of a fence and structural support to the foundation at 135 Hunter Street in the Rondout Historic District by Dylan Kaplowitz, if done according to the plans reviewed at this meeting and according to the procedures stipulated in section 405-26 of the City of Kingston's form-based code, is compatible with the historic character of the district for the following reasons. That the proposed work is to take place at the 2.5-story with basement brick dwelling with its gable end facing Hunter Street, and which is located at the north corner of the intersection of Hunter and Ravine Streets, in which, according to the January 1977 building structure inventory form produced by Friends of the Historic Kingston states, quote, this residence appears on the 1870 Beers map of Rondout. The gable-fronted structure retains some of its major features, but its facade has received major modern alterations. It is a contributory building in the district, close quote. That the entryway's frame shall be painted Benjamin Moore distant gray OC 68, and the entryway's double door will be painted Benjamin Moore Essex green HC 188. That the applicant shall be permitted to install a stained glass transom window to replace the existing single pane clear glass window. That the entryway stairs and railing shall be rebuilt of wood and painted white.
Can we add in there that with elements to be determined to kind of complement the historic district?
I think that should also, is that also to apply to the stained glass window?
I mean, I think the stained glass is.
Okay, so
fine.
just to apply to the.
Yeah,
the
but
entryway
like we're
stairs.
talking about just design elements.
Okay, I'll accept that amendment. That the applicant shall construct 5 feet tall fence in the rear yard for screening and should protect animals which will be made of horizontal wooden boards stained for protection. That the eastern wall of the masonry foundation may be reinforced to stabilize the structure. That any changes or additions to the plans of work specifically described and outlined in the submitted application will be subject to further review by our commission prior to the work being carried out. One question, the lighting fixture is not mentioned here. I think it should be added.
Yes.
And, and should be included in the portion that is to be.
Entryway stairs, just add another alliance line with similar language that.
Yeah, that the light.
The entry light fixture.
And that's also to be done in consultation with staff. Thank you.
I will be back.
That any changes, okay, I think I said this, but any changes or additions to plans of work specifically described and outlined in the submitted application will be subject to further review by our commission prior to the work being carried out. That the commission's approval does not obviate the need for a building permit from the City of Kingston's Building Safety Division or any other required approvals from relevant coordinating agencies. Based on the preceding findings of fact as amended, I move that on this 24th day of August, 2023, our commission grant a preservation notice of action to the above referenced applicant for the work as described herein and in his application to the commission, such a notice to be subject to the conditions contained in the foregoing motion. Do I hear a second?
Second, Nettie.
Thank you, Nettie. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call the roll. Kevin?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
Andrea?
Aye.
I also vote yes. This is exciting. That building has been waiting for you for a long time.
Thank you very much.
Make this part quick. Do we hear a motion from a Heritage Area Commission member to depose type 2 action under seeker? Do we hear a second? Second. Any further discussion? Call the roll. Janet?
Aye.
Nettie? Aye. Kevin?
Aye.
I'm Bonnie. I vote aye. Do I hear a motion to approve the waterproofing of the basement, repouring of the masonry walls, painting, and site work for 135 Hunter Street as presented this evening? Janet, Kevin second. Motion on the floor. Any further discussion?
Any motion?
Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Janet? Aye. Nettie? Aye. Kevin?
Aye.
I'm Bonnie. I vote aye. Now you're good.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good luck.
All right, 48 North Front Street, also known as 44, am I understanding that? Okay.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
They're like, fine.
Hi.
Patience.
Hello. We're excited to be here. We're Ash and Chess. My name is Ash.
Ash Malesso.
Sorry, my name is Ashley Malesso.
Chessino. We run a business currently called Ash and Chess, and we're opening a storefront at 44 or 48 North Front Street, this building. It used to be Artie's Bar and Grill.
And Stella's.
And Stella's.
Oh, yeah. Never left another. So we're opening a store and we're using one side for the shop and the other side for our office space because we do wholesale greeting cards and we've been in business for 6 years and it's been a dream of ours to open a shop one day and we're finally there. So it's really exciting to be here doing this.
So you're gonna occupy both storefronts?
Yes.
Then, okay, one's gonna be retail and the other will be your wholesale business
Yeah.
kind of operations, okay?
Yeah.
And upstairs is a residential unit? or
It's
you-
like it's not residential because it's like apparently really short. I guess it's like
Okay.
storage. of
It's
a
Okay,
storage.
so you'll just use it with the business?
Well, we are not using it, but we have gotten permission from the landlord to paint above where we're renting.
Okay, okay.
These were our original colors that we proposed for the building.
Since then, we have gone through a few iterations. This is the second iteration where we went and chose colors that were a little more toned down. I also have physical samples here tonight if you need to see them not on a screen. And then here was a third option. And we just kind of pulled this one more from a like historical color palette that I found online. But I've been in touch with Ethan a little bit and I was able to find some historical colors like from Sherwin-Williams that reflect closer to the original option that we wanted. And I also have those with me today, but if anything, we would like to keep it as close as possible to our original color palette. Basically more of the like purpley mauve color instead of a pinky blush color.
Do you have those with you by any chance?
Yes, actually,
Yeah,
I
that would
think
help.
Yeah.
Now, is this the one you prefer?
This is our ideal one.
That's your.
Yeah.
This was, yeah, I don't have, I have an updated one, but I don't have the blue with me. So this.
And the blue is only the word shop, or is it also part of the trim?
Only the word shop.
So those are the on option 2.
And these are from which company? Are these Benjamin Moore, Sherwin-Williams?
Those are Valspar.
Oh, Valspar, okay.
And then we stopped by the Sherwin-Williams store and found replacements.
Sure.
And this was the closest we could find to our original to replace the orange, but it's not really the same. It's not the same at all.
So you're like, no.
And
Straight up like, yeah, no.
so again, that orange is only the word everywhere.
On the original, yes. If it's too complicated, if you guys are opposed to having multiple colors on the front, like we are open to making it all one color, which would be the orange one.
Yeah.
But we are open to like talking about it and like hearing what you guys have to say. What do you think?
I'm just waiting to see anyone else. I like where you ended up.
Yeah, yeah.
I like that you showed us the journey on how you got here, honestly, because I noticed the logo on the door the other day when I was walking uptown and it caught my eye. I was like, ooh, and then we got the notes. I'm like, ooh. But I like that you showed us the journey, but I like this. I like the accent of the orange and the blue on the top. Yeah, I agree. That's what I was looking, I'm like trying to watch everyone's reaction at the table and see.
I'm more partial to option 3, actually. I'm not completely opposed to how you have the logo in this option, but I'm a little more sympathetic, I think, to having some slightly more muted colors.
I do like that too.
Honestly, I also like the logo in this as well. I think that, honestly, that really stands out to me more so than the orange. That's my feeling on it. I think I like having colors a little bit more sympathetic to the area, but still, this is very much a unique storefront.
And the word shop is larger here, right? Or it just looks larger because of the same color?
It might be.
Yeah, because yeah.
Now, do you have a logo that has colors that aren't this? Like, are you doing this just to put this on the building?
Yes, the logo, well, I mean.
Do you understand my question? Like, if you were to pull a card out, a business card out, and you showed a logo.
It would probably be a lot more wild than this.
I'm curious, how's your?
Like, I did the design for this, and the font is hand drawn, and our branding for the shop is like very colorful, as is our stationery brand. Like, we're known for our really bright and like fun stuff and art. And this, I knew that we were going into a historic district, and I wanted to keep it fun, but still like be within like an appropriate color palette.
Orange is more whimsical, which seems more like what your style is.
That's what I'm trying to get to. Like that, I think is lovely, but I kind of like the whimsy. I want to kind of feel from you if you're looking for something that represents you in that district and in that area.
I think that like this.
That would be the one that you would.
Yeah, I mean,
That's those colors.
Yeah, mine
That's
is.
it.
Yeah, because
That is the.
These are much more, that
Yeah,
is much
so-
pinker than.
The mock-up, and also these two, I don't have them with me, but they were a lot brighter than those two. Those are the second ones I chose that were a little dustier looking,
Ah,
so they wouldn't be too
is
bright.
this what you might be looking for?
Oh, that's, yeah, so
Thank
if you
you,
look at the far left, you can see how bright the originals were, and the second column are the ones that, I mean.
Isn't it funny, even in my industry, like, don't paint anything off of the, don't print it out and we know. So like, even this is more warm, if that's the right word for the colors, but this is the one that you want? I like it.
But it doesn't have a middle.
The middle one.
Plus the
Plus
blue.
Plus the I want you to have, I mean, again, I like this, I feel like it's not punch you in the face bright, but it feels like it's more your vibe and your energy for what you're going for.
A little bit of funk.
So option 2, this is option 2. That's option 1.
Yes,
So.
The second column in that one is like just slightly more muted, pinks like what's it, mauve? I don't know.
ish.
So you want option 2 laid out in this manner with blue on the, for the word shop, you just don't have blue here, or that would be the crowd roars? So move that here. So move the crowd roars to option number 2 column, and that's your colors.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a very small percentage of what we're looking at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm done. I dig it.
All right.
I'm just gonna write. Yeah. Yeah, because see, even the crowd roars here versus that is.
Here is Alan Bear wearing, he was my like go-to color guy. For.
Do you not like the crowd roars?
If it's that small and it's clearly for the name, it's not exactly the same as.
Painting a whole building.
Yeah, painting a
Yeah.
whole building. Yeah, it's kind of like trim.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
We've had a long series of slate gray and black applications. Yes. Which I have been wondering about.
It is
You
the
definitely
members
break
of the
that.
logo on the door is blue.
Yeah.
Right, I mean, it's not as easy to see here, but that's
Yeah.
literally what caught my eye when I was walking down the street the other day.
Yeah. Also, at one point, I found a photo of the building from the 1980s, and it had a white facade, but it had artistic arties in red and blue. And while that's not, it's kind of like orangey red. We thought that would be cute to kind of keep the logo in similar colors to what was once there at one point. I think that photo is somewhere in our original application, but that was just another reason why we picked those colors.
My concern is trying to keep the street face in historic colors. And if we vary hugely, we're gonna get, you know, lime green and burnt sienna next. Welcome to the set.
Oh, yeah. I share your sentiment, Mark. And I don't dislike this as a concept at all, just I'm thinking about the area around and I don't wanna start setting precedents for that either. That's why I wanna kind of play with this a little bit, just to see like if there's at all the possibility to keep your original logo, but have it somehow work with something a little bit more muted. I don't wanna, completely upset the apple cart with that, but it'd be, I can't peel these apart because they're stapled together. I'm just curious.
We may have extras.
But even like if that somehow worked with that, I don't know, what do you guys think of something like this? Yeah, take that out. It's still pretty similar, but it just, I like how this is just hair toned down, but you still get certainly the vibrancy of where you want to be with your logo, and I have no qualms about that.
If I may ask, preventing a moment of forgetfulness, are any of these colors that Andrea's working with right now from a historic color collection?
They're not, but I was able to pick up these two to replace the meld lines, which are very similar,
Pretty
but
close,
they're
yeah.
definitely, like, maybe this one is a little more.
Can you see those closer?
Yeah. And then these were the alternatives for the paint option, and then
Yeah, those are the alternatives for option.
yeah, so they're like fairly close to each other. This one is a little.
Yeah, it's a little more brown.
Which one? So we're open to these as well.
You need to pick colors. I guess my concern is just trying to maintain a consistency of palette as we can. I see it, I think it's kind of easy to vary for the sign portion, but for the larger pieces of the building, if we can stick with a sort of recognized historic palette, even if you're wandering off into, I don't know, maybe some odd Edwardian or sorts of those kinds of colors might resonate well with the historic district, and then we can turn to the folks with lime green and burnt sienna and say, just no. So you're better at this. I trust your eye in a way. I have relied on other people because whenever I tried picking a paint for my own house, it was disaster. You should see my purple bath.
It looks to me like they start to get fleshy color when they get. So, and I kind of like the pink is, if it's a rosy color rather than a peachy color, as long as it's the same
The
weight.
historic chip, what are the
Yeah, the historic chip
chips?
is peachy. I mean, it's
More
fleshy
Yeah.
to me. And I like the pink better. But I've been burned.
This is always so hard.
We did pass it around.
Oh, well, some of the other options here.
And these are the historic colors for this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, when you brought that up, I was like, ooh, but that's, I mean, you heard my opinion, you don't even have the pop of color for your logo, but I understand their point on the building, so.
Well, that's why I keep thinking about it as a pseudo compromise. I want to make sure that they have their logo colors, because again, I don't have any qualms about logo colors. That's what you'd like. But as far as the architecture of the building, that's where I'm a little more sympathetic to trying to be more historically, not accurate, but sympathetic, I guess is a better term, but still allow for some leeway in color choices.
It seems to me that this, this is historic. The core, would that be that would be the building.
Can you go back to one of the?
Yeah.
And that pops more than something like this, right?
I tend to agree
I mean,
with that.
like, it's a brighter color.
It is.
Can we do like option one? Yeah, so the lighter color is like the main color that you can see.
Right.
Yeah.
But
But you don't want peach.
It's not, you got I don't.
Not like peach.
It gets to be flesh color and, it's like, and I think this will pop more than these subdued, like mauvey sort of things. I don't know. Then you have to wait till the building gets dirty before people stop complaining.
Yeah, we had a few like that. It'll bleach out. I'm really looking for a way to accomplish two very different goals. Anyone have any good notions? If we can get the majority of the building in something that's a historic palette, trim can vary more. I agree with you, I'm with you on the logo idea, being more of a pop and not necessarily a historic color.
Yeah.
But yeah, the art, what we're trying to do is play up the architecture. And it's got some interesting stuff happening around windows and we want people to notice that. You go, yeah, Kingston's got some cool stuff, even if it's not the color that the building anywhere near it, it's cool. And so how do we get that kind of compromise out of the colors we are being presented with, do you think?
My thought is maybe we suggest having them come back with some other alternative colors that are specific in the historic palette. There's a bunch of other, companies that offer historic color lines. There's been more. You were in Sherwin-Williams. There's they're all escaping me right now, but there's a handful of other ones that.
If they went to Herzog's, that's been more Herzog's.
Yeah.
Can they help guide?
Absolutely.
So,
Herzog's.
Herzog's right down in the plaza that like defeated right now, I feel like.
I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry, I don't know if I can feel it in here, I know. But what we're saying is like, if you go down and say, this is what we're looking for, help me. And because they are a Benmore store and they could say, okay, this is our historic, did you do that already?
Yes.
So she's like, somebody, okay.
Did you guys look at the Sherwin-Williams website at all? Oh, okay.
It's not a lot of work, so I don't know, I can think about it like right now, big time, just like so
I
many.
mean, the small paint chips, the ones that are this size, these are all from the Sherwin-Williams historic palette. So those ones, I pulled directly online and went in and grabbed those.
So these two.
Those would start looking in the store. That's with me.
Yeah, we should. But it sounds like you've done the homework already, and you're here, and you're still saying too that this is historic, but this is not your favorite.
No, that is our.
So you could.
This is
That one
those
with
ones.
number one.
So these with this.
Yeah.
All right, people, how do we feel about that? We're getting
That color is not represented currently in a rendering.
No, it would be the closest
Right.
It's
Would
to
be-
that.
Yeah,
It's
that's-
completely different.
Because it's not
It would be just darker.
this, which I agree with you, I feel like that's PG, really PG. But how do you feel about that? You're saying, yes.
We like that.
So this would be, your logo would say, everywhere would be the autumn enchantment, and the crowd roars would be the shop. The body of the building would be orchard, and then Audrey's blush would be the trim.
Okay, what's looking at it?
Yeah, well, we can't,
Yeah,
get rid of the
Not being-
flames.
Okay, so that's not being used.
Yeah, so just the logo colors on
So
top.
that,
Oh,
Yeah.
woo, we're getting somewhere.
That's nice.
I think that's the thing I might have missed was
Yeah.
the historic colors that you
Yep,
popped out.
so it's making those that Robert's like, and I agree with you, like, that's
Let's
feels,
take these off the table.
okay, and that one too. And I think, dude, she's writing it down,
Okay, got it.
and then it's that,
And that pink one on the bottom side.
it's bye-bye.
Yeah, it's just the top two colors for the logo and then the
Dude,
ones
the
that.
colors you call the crowd roar, how about not a building? When they're drinking, whatever they're drinking, they come with color names, like, that's what I envision them all the time. Crowd roar, perfect, and you put it there. She's like, honey, stop. Yeah. So I just, like I said, when I looked up at your face, she's like, yeah. So many curse words, but if that brings you joy, that's what you guys like, is orchard for the building, Audrey's blush for the trim, and then autumn enchantment and crowd roars. Yes?
The Woodland Chair and the crowd roars, are they Sherwin-Williams too?
They're all Sherwin.
They're all.
Those are the-
Yeah, just the the main and the
The
accent.
other ones are
Down
Valspar.
here.
The other ones are
logo,
So
the logo colors are Valspar, the building
So
colors.
the main building of it,
are
yeah.
Sherwin-Williams.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry for the roller coaster ride of emotions.
We try to be accommodating.
but not.
I'm okay with this. Yeah, do you want to see it one more time, Mark?
Pardon?
Do you want to see it one more time?
This,
Yeah, cover up all the stuff around.
if you're happy, I'm happy. All right. I will entertain a motion to declare this a type 2 action under seeker. Thank you, Kevin. Do I hear a second?
Second, Robert.
Thank you, Robert. All right. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Kevin?
Well, Kevin, look, there's also signage on the pike.
Yeah.
That they're
Oh.
proposing.
Oh, yeah.
With this. So, the only thing we would say is that the, signs need to meet the standards that are in the code. The current code is the same as what was prior. So this one that he has up where you belong here wouldn't be allowed as a separate hanging sign. It would have to all be incorporated into a single.
Yeah.
And there's dimensional requirements and clearance requirements, and as long as you meet those, then you would be okay. And we can give you all of that detail.
And insurance too, right?
And insurance in the city of Kingston, yeah.
That sounds good.
Right.
Back to secret?
Yes, back to seeker.
Yes, on secret.
Thank you, Robert.
Yes.
Betty?
Aye.
You voted without even knowing it. Andrea?
Aye.
I also vote yes. Okay, I move that the commission find as fact that the proposed installation, is it of 2 signs? Or is it 3? I'm a little confused.
It would be 3
Building.
total because you have the 2 on the pike and 1 on the wall.
Okay, so 3 signs and painting at 48, also known as 44 North Front Street in the Stockade Historic District by Ashley Molesso.
Sorry.
Sorry, there was
You guys
a
need
last
another
sign that forgot.
There's a sandwich board sign. It's a sandwich board sign.
Oh, so they set it
That
up, they
doesn't
get it,
mean
we're
it's not a
not,
permanent
it's
structure.
not part of the building. Thanks. Thank you for thinking.
What's happening here?
Okay, so it's the proposed installation of three signs and painting of 48, also known as 44 North Front Street in the Stockade Historic District by Ashley Molesso, if done according to the plans reviewed at this meeting and according to the procedure stipulated in section 405-26 of the City of Kingston's form-based code, is compatible with the historic character of the district for the following reasons. That the proposed work is to take place at the two-story storefront building on the south side of North Front Street, located between Wall and Crown Streets, in which the July 1987 building structure inventory form prepared by Friends of Historic Kingston states that it could date to as early as the 1840s, but that an exact date of construction would be hard to determine, and that the shop once housed H. Hoteling news dealer James McIntyre, and subsequent businesses included painters, barbers, beverages, a tavern, artistic beauty salon, and Arby's Bar and Grill. That the applicant shall paint the structure the following colors.
The main body will be a Sherwin-Williams Orchid SW007. The accent trim will be Sherwin-Williams Audrey's Blush SW9001.
Back up, we missed the number on March, it's 0071.
0071.
Yeah.
Thank you. And the logo, main logo will be a Valspar Autumn Enchantment 2001-1A. And the word shop will be a Valspar The Crowd Roars 8001-38E.
I accept that amendment. And the applicant may install 3 signs, one painted on the second floor facade that reads "Everywhere Shop." Second shall hang from the pike plan and face the sidewalk, read "Everywhere Shop, you belong here." And the third sign shall hang from the pike plan and read "Everywhere Shop," provided all signs comply with standards under the newly adopted form-based code sign regulations. The owner shall provide the City of Kingston with insurance naming the city as an additional insured as required under City Code Section 358-9. That any changes or additions to the plans and or work specifically described and outlined in the submitted application will be subject to further review by our commission prior to the work being carried out. That the commission's approval does not obviate the need for a building permit from the City of Kingston's Building Safety Division or any other required approvals from relevant coordinating agencies. Based on the preceding amended findings of fact, I move that on this 24th day of August 2023, our commission grant a preservation notice of action to the above referenced applicant. The work is described herein and in her application to the commission, such notice to be subject to the conditions contained in the foregoing motion. Do I hear a second? Thank you. All right, any further discussion? Does anyone need to look at HIPs one more time? All right, hearing none, I will call the roll. Kevin? Aye. Robert? Aye. Nettie?
Aye.
Andrea?
Aye.
I also vote in the affirmative. Off to you.
Do I hear a motion from an HAC member to declare this type 2 action under seeker? So moved. Do I hear a second? Second. Motion on the floor. Further discussion? Nope. Call the roll. Janet? Aye. Nettie? Aye. Kevin? Aye. I'm Bonnie. I vote aye. Do I hear a motion to approve the painting and signage on 48 or 44 North Front Street as presented tonight? So moved. Do I hear a second? Second, Kevin. That motion on the floor. Any further discussion? No. Call roll. Janet? Aye. Nettie? Aye. Kevin? Aye. I'm Bonnie. I vote aye.
Yay.
Are you guys open yet, or?
Not yet.
Les?
Hoping for the fall, we haven't gotten the space yet, we're about to.
Oh, okay.
Still doing all the thing out once we get in there, so
Yeah.
we don't know.
You'll be hearing from us soon.
Yeah.
Good luck. Don't forget your.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're good.
And the patient's prize. You're not?
I don't think I'm here.
Uh-oh. So I will entertain a motion to be table this till next month, or are we just hang on?
No, wait, what? It's in the last one? No, there it is.
Oh, how silly of me. You are here,
Must got a table.
No, no, no.
Didn't want to out you.
I would have made you. Should have jumped.
Yeah.
Don't think.
That could have been terrible.
No.
Okay, so,
Before you start,
yes, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, I want my house to look like this.
I can, render it for you at least. Andrew Putes is speaking on behalf of Catholic Charities and Agribusiness Child Development, ABCD. I don't know if that's accidental or intentional, it's kind of fun. Anyway, so the existing building behind, that's in white, is the 6 Adams Street building that our office did drawings for many, many years ago and has been renovated and it looks wonderful. And it actually sustained a fire too, and we had to re-renovate it again, so that was kind of fun. Anyway, the current playground on the sort of upper deck, if you will, is too small. The applicant is looking to increase the size of their current play space, which is this new proposed deck, as you can see from this aerial shot. There's currently a staircase. Might as well just stand. There's currently a staircase that goes down here and accesses a reading outdoor space. That's for staff for break times. And there's another stair that goes down here to get to the playground. That's existing. The stairs will be fixed. I believe they're a concrete stairs, so they'll be restored to existing concrete. The lower section of the staircase will be removed, so this will be just for staff only. Children will not be going down there to play. Their main path of travel will be from out of the building here and then winding down the staircase to the playground here. The gazebo will go away. The deck will serve as their main shade structure. And we're hoping to propose some like a vegetative green screen for that space. So it feels a little bit more enclosed for kids to go and play underneath, and there will be easy access between the grass play area as well as the sort of rubberized top. And we'll also add the opportunity for some seating for picnic time or whatever the program may be. The other shed structures that are here will remain. The only main structure that will go away is the gazebo that's currently there. That's it. Does any commissioners have any questions?
So it's steel construction?
Steel construction with a Trex decking. So anything that's black is steel, galvanized steel painted. This will be a wood framed, hold on. It's a wood framed deck with Trex decking on top. So, and the Trex is for minimal maintenance purposes.
And the color is what we're seeing with the.
In all likelihood, they will be those colors. I don't have a specific sample to hand out.
The mural that's currently there.
There is currently a mural there. It has not been repainted or been addressed and will likely just be painted a solid color given what will be going on.
You're going to refresh it or do something a little different to kind of follow the.
At this point, it will probably just be painted over solid, but if we have any changes to that, we'll certainly come back.
All right.
I need to warn you, the federal law regarding artwork.
Okay.
And you're going to want to touch base with, is it an O positive?
I don't think so.
I don't think this was so positive. I think this was done by a local guy that is in Roundout, and he worked with the church.
Okay. So they might want to touch base with him just to let him know what's happening.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, even the old positive ones have contracts that after 3 years, it can be removed.
And we insisted on that. A few of the older
Right.
ones, I'm not so sure we had that on. And so I had no idea how old or who had created this one.
I will make sure that that is known.
It's referring to the 5 points case, the one I said
I did not know.
it was huge.
Okay.
And a huge judgment.
Ooh. Well, we don't.
Oh, this is the
judge,
5
so-
points case?
The 5
Yeah.
points case.
Yeah, it was infamous.
Interesting.
Yeah, so there was some statutory protection, particularly for artists, us.
Wait, was that the building that had lots of like graffiti on it? Or was that a different, a different structure? And then the owner like overnight just completely whitewashed everything?
I don't know if it was graffiti or murals or what, but
Yeah.
yeah, overnight the.
I did hear about that. Yeah.
It's
Okay.
called the 5 points case. It's, I think, in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Long Island City.
Long Island City, thank you. Queens then.
Yeah. Okay. No, I did hear about that. That was very interesting. But yes, no, we'll make sure that, I'll make sure to bring that back to my client.
Please.
The one thing I do want to make mention of is the railing style that we show here. We may need to change that or put some sort of barrier just behind it, so that way it discourages children from wanting to climb on it. So we may change it to what's currently here, so it's a vertical balustrade instead of a horizontal. So I don't know if we want to try and make room for that in the
I think that would be wise. It sure
Yeah.
sounds like a good idea. It's to me.
So, that was an oversight on my part. When I was doing this, because I copied some of these elements from another project and was like, oh, that's great. And then, anyway, so, just want to make sure that's, the commission is aware of that.
And think of that as you are childproofing your house.
Yeah, yes, indeed. I'm doing it already.
Should there be any awnings up top for the sun on the trucks? Because the trucks get very hot.
It certainly does. We will come back for that. We are having some discussion with the clients on that, and but I didn't want to present it tonight because we haven't settled on anything yet. So we'll come back if that is indeed the case. We do want to wind up installing something.
Right, okay.
Any questions?
Does the refurbishing include structural work?
We have not assessed if it needs specific structural work at this point. I think it's probably just a basic repair to the stairs, but we can get into that further if the commission so requires it.
Okay. If it's replacement kind, that's easy. If it isn't.
Yeah, it's concrete, it's concrete. We don't intend to change the material.
Okay. Any other questions for the applicant? All right, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion that we send forward to action under seeker. Thank you, Robert. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Ooh, this is tough. I think I'm giving it to Nettie. This is my deaf ear, I'm sorry.
Remember that for next time.
That's right.
The roles are switched.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call the roll. Kevin? Nettie?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
I also vote aye with a different way on it. And note the recusal of Andrea. All right, moving on to the project itself. I move that the commission find as fact the proposed installation of a rear deck at 6th Avenue Street, Rondout Historic District by the New York State Federation of Growers and Processors Associations Incorporated, doing business as Agribusiness Child Development, ABCD. If done according to the plans reviewed at this meeting and according to the procedure stipulated in section 405-26 of the City of Kingston's form-based code, is compatible with the historic character of the district for the following reasons. The proposed work is to take place at the two-story classical revival St. Peter's School building located at the southeastern end of Adams Street, and that the January 1987 building structure inventory form prepared by the Friends of Historic Kingston states, Quote, "The date 1911 appears on the cornerstone of this building, which replaced a church which was previously on this site. The classical revival structure is intact and has received no major modern alterations. The applicant will construct a 16-inch by 16-foot. 16 by 54-inch deck comprised of galvanized steel support structure with Trex decking material attached to the existing concrete retaining wall at the rear of 6 Adams Street. That a galvanized steel and Trex staircase will be constructed from the deck down to the playground below, which abuts Broadway. Any changes or additions to the plans of work specifically described and outlined in the submitted application will be subject to further review by our commission prior to the work being carried out. I'd like to specify in this one that you should work with staff concerning the design of the galvanized steel railing.
The railing.
Yeah, in
Sure.
case you need to do that.
Yes.
The commission's approval does not obviate the need for a building permit from the City of Kingston's Building Safety Division or any other required approvals from relevant coordinating agencies. Based on the preceding findings of fact, I move that on this 24th day of August 2023, our commission grant a preservation notice of action to the above referenced applicant for the work as described herein and in its application to the commission, such notice to be subject to the conditions contained in the foregoing motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you, Robert. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call the roll. Nettie? Robert?
Aye.
Kevin? I also vote aye, and again, no recusal of Andrea. To you, Bonnie.
My only question is, painting of the steel versus like powder coating or something like that, are you concerned about rust?
That's why it's galvanized steel and we intend to paint it. It's sort of my boss equated it to belt and suspenders.
Okay.
That's probably the most appropriate way.
Perfect, yeah. So do I hear a motion from a AJC member to declare this a type 2 action under secret? So moved. Do I hear a second?
Second.
A motion on the floor, any further discussion? Call the roll, Janet? Aye. Nettie?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
I'm Bonnie, I vote aye. Do I hear a motion to approve the construction of a new rear deck with staircase and refurbish the existing staircase for the childcare use at number 6 Adams Street as presented tonight?
Janet Moore, so moved.
Do I hear a second? Motion on the floor, any further discussion? No, I'll call the roll. Janet? Aye. Nettie?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
I'm Bonnie, I vote aye.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Can we entertain a motion to adjourn, or are there any other issues to be brought before us this evening?
No, the only other thing maybe, there might possibly be a date change for the September meeting. We are going to think about that at staff level. So if it's not, it would be the following week, it would be the week after, on Wednesday night. Look at what comes in for agenda items and also what's available in the room space. So we'll be sending a note out.
Are you wanting to, okay. I couldn't tell if it was yawning, I was like, where I come back.
I do have a question now that the form-based code is enacted. So I recall at one of our sort of workshop meetings that, and I'm not trying to put bullseye on HAC's head, but what happens to HAC now that the form-based code has been?
This is, thank you, this is basically probably the last HAC meeting that will happen.
Y'all are coming on board with HLPC, right?
If anyone's interested in joining another board, the ZBA is looking for members and also, like, I know the ZBA, you're not dealing with all the same issues, but when somebody does appeal a decision of the HLPC, it goes to the ZBA, so you guys can still have the opportunity to review it.
Good. That's fine, and Jan, it was resumes with that.
Yes, please.
Well, initially, all you really have to do is just shoot an email out to the mayor. I know my office is trying to accelerate the process because we right now, the ZBA only has 3 members, zoning board of appeals.
Okay.
So you'll be dealing with variances primarily, area variances, use variances. But again,
more area
kind of
variances.
well, there will be fewer area variances, but they might still pop up here and there. But there's only 3 members right now, left on the board, which is the minimum for a quorum. They have no alternatives, or alternates, I mean. So they are in desperate.
And when does
need
that
of
one
members. They meet the second Thursday of every
Does that work better?
Oh, I don't know, I'm just like. I change my life all the time, that's what I've been doing, so it's all good. I'm doing something else, I'm not gonna not, I wanna keep involved, so.
So if
So
anyone's
yes.
interested, send out.
We want-
You can search their office if you want.
I figured out how to say everything right, and not act like a cowboy. My squishy chair and stuff. Do you want to make a motion to adjourn? Are we good to do that?
Yeah, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
HLPC first, I guess.
Okay, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Who wants to move? Move. Second. All right, all those in favor? I will call, yes, by acclamation, we stand adjourned.
Do I hear a motion? Motion, second? Second, all in favor? Last time for HAC.
Yes.